Hello everyone, I hope you are well. I have not done a book haul in such a long time, and this is a second-hand charity shop book haul. Some of these books are from charity shops and some of them are from a boot sale. So from the beginning of the year, these are all the books that I've kind of collected, got my little paws on. Whenever I see a charity shop, I've got to go in, look at the book section. So I'm going to get straight into it because I have loads of beautiful books to show you. The first two books are a present from my dad. He actually went to a boot sale, and at the boot sale he saw these two gorgeous Charles Dickens books. So stunning, and he knows I adore old books. So I have Oliver Twist and I have Bleak House. I have not read anything about Bleak House, I don't even know what it's about, but Oliver Twist I'm about halfway through, and I have a English library edition, but they're the ones with the rubbery covers, and I hate those rubbery covers, so I'm so glad to have another edition of Oliver Twist. I think I'm going to give my English Oxford Library edition, that edition, to a charity shop, and then I'm going to read Oliver Twist from the beginning, because I got about halfway through and then I lost my edition, and then I found it again and I wasn't really feeling reading it, so I think I'm going to start from the beginning. Of what I did read from it, I was really enjoying it. This is just so beautiful. I love the spine, really stunning. It has the original illustrations in it as well. It has really small font, which I don't mind because it's such an old book. Look at the gorgeous illustrations. The detail on them are absolutely stunning. So I am so happy to have it. It's the first bit, Oliver Twist. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. So I have Oliver Twist and then I have Bleak House. I would definitely get around to reading both of them. I have read Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, and oh, it's one of my all-time favourite books. So I'm excited to read them. Tell me anything about Bleak House because I have no idea what it's about. So if you've read it or know anything about it, then let me know in the comments, so that might like inspire me to pick it up. The next two books are books that when they actually came out I wanted to buy, but I don't buy new books. I just don't tend to, and so I found them in the charity shop. It pays off to wait. This is Three Things About Elsie. I just love the cover. So it's like Battenberg cake, but it's a jigsaw. I'll show you. I always loved this cover. When it first came out, I was like, oh, I just love its jigsaw piece. Sorry, it's my aquarium. If you watched my last video, there was like a book review, I was like, sorry, it's my aquarium. Sometimes it just goes off, it makes noises, it's helping my fish breathe, so I don't mind, but gorgeous cover. This is about a woman, she's 84 years old and she's in a home for the elderly, and she falls on the ground, and while she's on the ground waiting for someone to come and help her, she's thinking about her life, and that's all I really know. It's a mystery, so I'm very excited to get around to reading that. I then have this one, which I remember when this first came out and I was like, oh, I really want to read it, but then other books come out and you think about them, and then I go to a charity shop and I get a load of books, so I just read those ones, so I never got around to actually buying it new. And this is a Tracy Chevalier, A Single Thread. So beautiful. So this is set in 1932 and it's about a surplus woman, which they were women who their husbands had died in the war, and so no one thought they were going to remarry, and they were just kind of like leftover women, casualties of the war, leftover women who would be spinsters. So that it's about this woman who's surplus woman. She's grieving her husband has died in the war and her brother, and then she joins a group of women who do some kind of needlework, embroidery for the church, and when they're doing this work they tell each other their secrets, and so she gets drawn into these secrets of these other women. I love the cover, I love the inside pages, are so beautiful, so stunning. This will be my 5th Tracy Chevalier. I am wrong, it'll actually be my 6th Tracy Chevalier. So these are the ones that I've read and I love all of them, so I could highly recommend every single one. Remarkable Creatures, Adore, The Lady and the Unicorn, The Virgin Blue. I love these covers more. Can you see? They'll have a picture of a woman than these, but I still like them. So Virgin in Blue, Girl with a Pearl Earring, which you've probably already read, absolutely stunning, and Falling Angels. I love all of them. Love all of the Tracy Chevaliers, can highly recommend. Next up I have Old Yella. This is by Fred Gibson, and I know that in American schools sometimes you have to read this in school. It's one of the books that they choose, so I always like to read books that are classics or that other countries read as their books in school. I have no idea why, I just have kind of a passion for it. Like if you read it in an American school or a school around the world, I want to read it. I want to, like, what's been chosen, what's so special about it that they think children need to be exposed to it, that is so good. So I don't really know what it's about. It's about a dog that has rabies, maybe, and then gets put down. Is that what it's about? I'm not sure, but I thought I would just pick it up. Lovely old cover on that. I then have an X library book that I found in the charity shop. So it's got this, you know, and it has, I love it when they have the like book covers, these shiny covers you get in the library. And this is about a 19-year-old. She's failed her Scottish Highers, so her higher education, she's failed it. So now she is back at her primary school working as a teacher assistant, and her life hasn't turned out how she hoped it would. All her friends have gone off to university, they're all going to do their dreams and what they really want to do, but she can't because she didn't get the grades. And so then she starts thinking about, like, what's the point of being an adult, and everything she dreamed of isn't going to come true. I just thought it sounded quite intriguing. I've never heard of this. It's The Home Corner by Ruth Thompson. Never heard of the author, never heard of this book, but it just seemed very intriguing to me, so I thought I'd pick it up. Then have one that I'm so excited for. When I saw this in the charity shop, it just, you know, you can just see the spine. So I saw the spine and I got it out and I just thought, oh my god, what a beautiful cover. And then I read what it was about and I was like, this is me. Anything scandalous, any kind of affair, any kind of thing like that, like a classic where there's like affair, tragedy, forbidden love, unrequited love. Oh my god, I'm there. I'm like a rat. Oh, I love it. So this is by Hermann Hesse, and this is called Gertrude. It's a classic, and it's about a young composer meets this woman called Gertrude through their love of music, and then Gertrude goes off and gets married, and this man is in love with Gertrude, and it leads to tragedy. That's it. Leads to tragedy because obviously he loves her. She's gonna go off and marry someone else who he knows who's his friend. Look at her, the heathen. Look at her, Gertrude. So I'm very excited to get into that, find out what that's about. These next 3 books aren't from a charity shop. I wasn't going to pop them in the haul, but I thought I might as well. I got them new, and they are 2 I actually got last year, and then 1 I got this year. That's how, like, these are the 2 new books that I got last year from the bookshops, because I just don't buy new. I don't know why, I just don't. And then I got 1 new book this year, so these are second hand or charity shop, but I just thought I'd pop them in. This one is the International Booker Prize. It's on the long list. This is Phenotypes by Paulo Scott, and it's set in Brazil, and it's by a Brazilian author, and it's about a white passing mixed race narrator and the relationship with his brother. It's about Brazil and to do with colorism, family dynamics, class, culture, social inequity, loads of different stuff. And it was the one that kind of jumped out the most. I did a whole video where I was talking about the Booker International Prize, which is a book that has to be translated into English originally in a different language, obviously because it's translated into English, but I did a whole video on all the books that were in that, and this book just kind of, I thought it sounded interesting, so I thought I would pick it up. It kind of spoke to me, so I picked that one up. I then have 2 that were on a deal. So how I went into this bookshop, because I don't really go into bookshops, is I was driving back to see my family, and in one of the pit stops, you know, you go in, there's like a cafeteria, and then there's loads of little shops, and they had a WH Smith, and they were running a deal which was buy one get one half price. And so the book that I picked up was this one. This was the book that I wanted to get, The Cat and the City. This is by Mick Bradley, and these are stories to do with a cat, and it is set in Tokyo, and it's to do with different people's lives. So one is I've started reading it, it's really good. One is a homeless man who a cat befriends him. Another one is a tattoo artist, and he's tattooing this woman, and he's tattooed a little cat, and he's drawing a scene. So in the scene there's this cat, and then every time he does the tattoo again on the woman, the cat has moved on her body. It is such an intriguing, kind of sinister book. It's got sinisterness, it's got kind of loneliness within it. I'm really enjoying it so far. And then there was like get one half price, so I thought I would pick up a book. And this isn't a book that I'd heard anything about. It's called, oh look, there's the buy one get one half price sticker on it. Small Pleasures. This is by Claire Chambers, and it's about a woman has said she's had an immaculate conception, like the Virgin Mary. She didn't ever have sex with anyone, and now a baby. That's it. It's an immaculate conception, and a journalist has to write the story about this woman. So she has to go and see this woman, hear the woman's story, and then it's about those 2 women. I'm guessing they're gonna form some kind of friendship, and we're gonna find out what happened. Very excited for this. Really like this cover as well. I think it's really nice. This is set in 1957 in southeast London, so I'm excited for that. The rest are just second-hand books. So from the charity shops I got The Balcony. This is, oh, This is what I always do. I pick up a book, I think, oh, okay, this is what the book's about. I then get the book home and then read more about it and realise, oh, I'm not sure I would have picked that up, but I'm gonna read it now anyway, because whenever a book comes into my house, I have to read it. I can never unhaul books or DNF books. I have to read them. Le Balcon is what it was originally published as in 1957. So it's a play about a brothel. I thought it was about flats. So I thought it was people like living in a block of flats and then how they're going to interact with each other. That's not what it's about. It's about set in a brothel, and the brothel is all about fantasies. So you go in with your fantasy, and then it's about the fantasies, so like private compulsions, and then them becoming into reality. No idea, absolutely no idea, but beautiful cover. I love this cover here. I'm quite intrigued to see what that's about, because it's completely different to what I thought it was about, because I just quick glance, you know, you're in a charity shop, there's people on you, there's people there, and so it's a quick glance, I'm thinking, oh, okay, in a building, so it's people in like a block of flats, how they're going to interact with each other. Not at all, Hannah, couldn't be further from what you thought it was going to be. But I'm still going to check it out. I then got a book all about Doris Day's life. I really like Doris Day. I got one about, which I had showed in a Friday Reads, about Judy Garland's life, which I need to read that first, and then I can get onto my Doris Day. This is by Eric Braun, and it's about Doris Day's life and her movie careers and everything, so I'm excited to read that. I then have another play. I didn't realise this was a play when I picked it up. I thought it was just a short book, and it's set in the First World War. It's called Journey's End by R.C. Sheriff, and it's about a British officer on the front line, and one of them's just 18 years old, fresh out of English public school, joins the army with his friend, and cricket hero is in the army with him as well, and he is changed forever, obviously, as you would have been having to join the army at 18 and, you know, going up for what do they call it when you didn't choose to join the army but you would have to, national service. So doing national service and his life and how it changes him forever. Very intriguing. I thought it was a novella. It's a play. I do enjoy plays, so I'm looking forward to that. I then have this author. Is the author that when I started this channel, my first ever video was a book review of the book Where Are the Children by Mary Higgins Clark. So it'd be interesting to like revisit her work, because I started this channel so long ago and I just finished that book and I really wanted to talk to someone about it, so I decided to make a video review and talk about my feelings on it and everything. So it'd be interesting to read another Mary Higgins Clark. I have watched almost all of her made for TV things, so she writes thrillers and they get in America turned into made into TV films, and I've watched almost all of them. I absolutely love them so much. So this one is Mary Higgins Clark, A Stranger Is Watching. It's a hardback edition. I love this cover. There she is on the back there, Mary Higgins Clark. Very excited to read this. Quite self-explanatory, like it's going to be about some kind of stalking incident, a thriller. So I'm excited. She does have like twists in it and kind of moral dilemmas in it. Oh, the books are everywhere. Moral dilemmas in the books as well, which I enjoy. I then have a Jacqueline Wilson, because all I read as a child was Jacqueline Wilson. I wasn't into reading, so I would only read Jacqueline Wilson books, and I just want to reread them. Just a bit of comfort, reread, see how I feel about them now as an adult. Just re-look into the Jacqueline Wilson world. I also was so into giving my stuff away, which I wish I wasn't, because when I was a child and I would get all my stuff from charity shops and boot sales, so then when I was done with it and I got older, I would always give them back to charity shops and boot sales. And I know that's like a lovely thing to do, to give back, but now I'm like, oh, I wish I had all those books that I had read, and there's so many little things that I'm like, oh, I wish I'd kept that, but instead I was like, no, I'll just give it back. And I was really into clearing out my room. Whenever I'd have to tidy my room, I would like clear so much stuff out and give it to a charity shop. And I'm like, I wish I'd kept some of it. So this isn't my original edition that I read, because God knows where that is. But I thought I would kind of start my Jacqueline Wilson collection again with some of the books. And The Suitcase Kid was the first Jacqueline Wilson book that I ever read. It's about a girl whose parents get divorced, and so she becomes a suitcase kid going in between houses and how that affects a child. Very excited to read that again. I remember feeling really sad about it at the time. I then got this as a Christmas present from my parents, and I think I got it from a charity shop, and it's first book of favourite fairy tales. The Swan Princess, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White and Rose Red and the Snow Queen, and it is such a beautiful old edition, and it's obviously those stories abridged, but Raymond Briggs, who did The Snowman and Ethel and Ernest, he has illustrated it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Just such a stunning book. I love his illustrations in this. Are just, oh, look at that little cottage. You just want to step into it. So beautiful. So I'm excited to read them. I then have 3 books that my dad got from a boot sale, and someone has actually covered them, which I love. The sound goes on the video here, but it does come back in a minute, so I'm just going to do a voiceover. So this is Shelley and Keats, this book, and the book is originally cloth bound, you can tell, but someone has put thick wallpaper over it. I love that they've used wallpaper because it almost feels like being a part of someone's history. So that is Shelley and Keats, a collection of their work in this absolutely stunning book. The next one is gorgeous too. This is thinner, so I'm thinking maybe it's wrapping paper they wrapped the book with. I just love this idea of getting your wallpaper or wrapping paper that you have around the house and wrapping your books up in them, so they're almost like little time capsules of different times in your life. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. These are 1914 and other poems, and they've cut one of the birds out of the paper and put it on there. This is Rupert, Brooke and other poems. There is a picture of him there. This is the collection I was talking about. I love that it had a little bit of tissue paper kind of protecting the picture on it as well. And I'm showing you that they've distressed the book, I think, to make it look older. So they've cut into all the pages, really distressed the pages. And as you can see here, the pages aren't the same length. They've cut some of the pages to make the pages smaller. I have no idea why they've done this, but I just think it's really cute. And you can see at the side where the pages are all distressed. I love this paper. This is wrapping paper. You can tell it's kind of got a shine to it. Really gorgeous. Roses, daisies, mad print. And what I'm showing you now is they must have had it on a bookshelf because the spine, the colour on the spine has been completely bleached off, which that's my fear, that's one day going to happen to all my books, that the spines are going to be completely bleached. I'm showing you also that they are cloth bound books underneath, really old books, really gorgeous books. So this one here is Verse Worth Remembering, is this book, and I just love that wallpaper, and all 3 of them together are gorgeous. And I decided that I was going to carefully take off one of the covers. I have done it. I have managed to take it off so that I can just slide it back in, so I haven't damaged the paper, so I can slide it back in. So here's what the book has obviously been covered, and here is what's underneath. I feel like a book archaeologist right now. Look. So it says Shelley and Keats, and then it has this gold design of a leaf. Can you see their gold leaf? Oh, what a lovely book. But I like that someone's just put their wallpaper over it. Someone's just wallpapered over it, so it's like a little secret book within it. I'm going to end this video here. Tell me what you think of any of these books that I have bought, and I will see you again soon for another video.